Welcome back to our special coverage of Tall Ships 2004. Halifax Harbor, David, a place with a real connection to our sailing past.
That's right. Halifax, since it was founded, settled by the Europeans, has always been an important naval port. Of course, important naval port during both World Wars. One of the first small parades of sail took place here in June Sunday in 1813 when HMS Shannon sailed into port in tow USS Chesapeake. They had met in battle off Boston, and Shannon had been victorious. And at that time, word went around the various churches that the Shannon had been victorious over the Americans. This was during the War of 1812, and people filed out of the churches and came down to the waterfront, much like we see here today, to cheer Shannon coming in with her prize.
You also, we've talked about the history and the sense of the sailors who come today are very much greeted as heroes, but not so much always the case in the past.
No, that's right. I mean, sailors were not terribly welcome visitors to port, so even though they brought a lot of revenue to ports. But I would say about 100 years ago, first of all, people didn't come down to the waterfront as much because waterfronts weren't places where decent people hung out. Plus, it was very difficult to have access to the harbor because all of the piers and warehouses were privately owned, and the owners didn't like the public trespassing on their property. But mariners had a certain reputation, partially deserved perhaps, but it's very different now. They're very much greeted like heroes and welcomed with open arms. But that's one of the big changes that we see from the historical period to the modern period.
Well, there are, of course, all kinds of spectators here to cheer on the ships. Lori Graham is down with someone, and we join her now. Lori.
Hey, Linda, you may not be able to see me, but I'm sure you see crowds of people sitting on the rocks here, close up. Who needs a chair when you can just find a rock? Down here, everybody's getting close to the shore, waving to all the ships. I think you could call this prime real estate. Doug Connors is one of the people who's enjoying the view. And how long have you been sitting here, Doug?
We came about 10 to 1 o'clock. We decided that this was a good spot to see it from on Thursday, and so we made an effort to get here early.
Oh, so you cased the joint early on.
Yeah, pretty well. Yeah.
All right, so what do you like so far? I mean, the ships are spectacular. What have you enjoyed so far?
Actually, the ships and the day is perfect, of course. We're here sweating to death. But, no, it's been a great show.
Now, Linda, I should tell you that Doug is an avid golfer, and he actually chose to take the day off to come here. Why was it so important for you to be here?
Well, I play every day, so I figured I'd cancel my 1:24 tee-off time today just to come down to the docks. Yeah.
So you've been enjoying it, though, over the past couple of days. What's been the highlight for you?
Basically, I guess just going around and talking to the people, and everybody seems to be enjoying themselves, and it just seems to be just a nice event.
Yeah, and the ships, when they're going by, they're tooting, and the crowds. What have you enjoyed? What ship do you like the most? Can you think of one?
Well, the Mexico ship, I think, was the best one. I think.
Why was that?
Well, it looked like they were having a great time. The music was loud, and they seemed to be enjoying themselves.
Yeah. Yeah, and so how long are you planning to stay?
Oh, probably for another couple hours.
Yeah, well, I hope you've got some sunscreen with you.
Yeah, thank you.
All right, thanks very much. Well, Linda, I think I'm going to enjoy the view for another little while. Talk to you in a few minutes.
Thank you so much for it, Lori, and do enjoy your view. You do have a great spot there. This is the When and If from Martha's Vineyard. And David, tell us a little bit about the story behind the name of When and If.
Well, When and If was commissioned by Colonel George S. Patton, and before he went to war, he wanted to build a yacht that he and his wife could sail. And he said, when and if I return from war, we will sail around the world. Well, as most people know, General Patton didn't return from the war. He was killed in an accident, an automobile accident in Germany shortly before the war ended. But his family sailed the vessel until the 1970s, and then they very generously donated it to the Landmark School north of Boston. And she takes young people on sail training adventures. She was damaged in the early 1990s in a storm, and has been pretty much rebuilt since 1994. She was built by in Wiscasset, Maine, and again, you know, our neighbors to the south in Maine, state of Maine, has a tremendous boat building tradition there. Places like Bath and Wiscasset and Searsport, and we see a lot of Maine vessels coming by these waters.
We're hearing a lot of cannon fire. What's the tradition behind that, David?
Well, the cannon fire, of course, a lot of the vessels were military vessels. When Cuauhtemoc came in the other day, she purged her cannons, so shot all her guns, so as to show those in Halifax that she was on a peaceful visit, and that was a great attraction to people watching the vessel come in.
So many traditions surrounding these ships, including the salute itself by HMCS Athabascan, a bit of a tip of the flag, I guess you would say.
Yeah, that's right. That's normally what happens when a vessel passes. I know when I was at the Maritime Museum in the Atlantic, our ship Acadia, anytime a naval vessel came in, we would always salute the naval vessels as they went by.
Very busy harbor out there right now.
Very busy
Lots
harbor.
of action.
We're looking at a small...
And there's the ferry trying to get through the crowd, the Halifax-Dartmouth ferry.
The ferry continues to operate. Actually, the ferry has been operating 24 hours a day for the last 3 or 4 days, which is very unusual. We're looking at another small schooner now, and as I mentioned before, a lot of these schooners are really representative of these long-standing shipbuilding traditions here in Nova Scotia.
It really has been a remarkable weekend along with the ships. There's been music and dancing and all kinds of activities. We're going to let you have a look at some of the sights and sounds of the last few days.
Welcome aboard.
Put the two together, it's a gros time. It's more than a time, and it's a lot bigger than big. It's a gros time. What's up?
Get your official Tall Ships program, $5.
Oh, what fun. One of the very young Tall Ships fans there.
That's right.
Unicorn from Canada, home port Halifax, a familiar ship around these parts. Tell us a little bit about Unicorn.
That's how she's new to Halifax. She was built originally in Holland in 1947, and was built from steel salvaged from German U-boats when they broke up a lot of the U-boats after the war. Of course, there was a shortage of materials like steel in Europe, and a lot of them were recycled. And she was a motor fishing vessel, and she worked in the North Sea and the North Atlantic. In 1979, she was converted to a sailing ship and renamed Eenhoorn, or One Horn, or the Dutch for unicorn. And in 1986, she crossed the Atlantic to the United States and was used as a charter vessel there, and was purchased in the mid-90s by a Canadian couple. And she was relaunched in 1997 and called True North of Toronto, and sailed in the Great Lakes for a while, and then is now operates out of Halifax. She does character and leadership training, and really tries to aim at the business community. Like if you want to take your executives on board and help them bond, that's what you do on board a uniform.
You're taking them from the boardroom to the wardroom.
That's right.
Well, we're going to take a short break now, but we'll be right back with more of the tall ships from Halifax.